You're listening to Inside the Locker Room with Wimp and Barry Sanderson on Tide 100.9 in Tuscaloosa.
West, the Dallas Stars. In baseball, the Guardians beat the Red Sox 5-4. Rangers outscored the Tigers 9-7. Rays get by the Angels 2-1. Giants shut out the Diamondbacks 5-0.
Inside the Locker Room with former Crimson Tide basketball coach Wimp Sanderson and his son, former SEC and ACC assistant basketball coach Barry Sanderson. It's time to take you inside the locker room on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
And good morning. Welcome into a Friday edition of Inside the Locker Room. About made it through another week here at Tide 100.9. We'd love to have your phone calls here the first hour. No guests the first hour. So love to have you in 205-342-9904. If you want to get in on with us this morning, we could talk a little RBC Heritage. Alabama guys okay. Nick Dunlap not well, not doing very good. But Justin Thomas at least was under par. No doubt I'll talk to you about that. Download that Tide 100.9 app. You can take us with you anywhere you go. Today, obviously at 11 o'clock, Alabama Texas A&M baseball will play. The baseball last night ended up raining out, and I was out there just going to watch the game. So they're going to play a doubleheader today, hopefully weather permitting. I think it will, but 11 o'clock. So I guess that'll knock out a lot of the shows here today, Justin. Pretty much all the shows, doubleheader. So I think after the first game, 45 minutes in the second game there. So
just realized that might mean I get to go home a little early today.
You definitely want to go home early today. So there you go. Yellowwood, pressure-treated pine from Great Southern. He got a smile on his face now, Dad. They bring you this 7 o'clock hour each and every day. And always remember, if you're going to build the fence, the deck, the pergola, you want to build to last, then use Yellowwood. If it doesn't have that yellow tag on it, then believe me, you don't want it. Good morning, Dad. How was your evening last night?
Ooh, wow.
Not good?
Say it's okay.
No.
The golf tournament that Barry was mentioning, certainly JT Poston was the leader, -8. Nick had a tough day. He was +4 towards the bottom. Tom Hogue, who we don't talk about a lot, but is a very good player, was -4, and JT was Thomas was -2. So that carries on today and Saturday and Sunday. Be interesting to see what happens. Reed Shepherd, the Kentucky shooting guard, I don't think he's going to take an agent. He's going to go ahead and go pro, or going to try to. He's going to put his name in the for pro, and where the kid from Alabama is waiting to see by not getting an agent. Good player from Wisconsin is going to Kansas, as well as Alabama kid. I think Griffith is going to Kansas. Kenny Payne, what Cal's trying to do, he's trying to get all the guys that Kenny Payne is involved in recruiting from Louisville. He's hired Kenny Payne as the assistant head coach, but he ain't going to do no coaching. He's going to get the players that he can get, make the players that know him, that he recruited for himself, that Kentucky beat him on, and then the ones that he can get after losing his job. So a lot of the guys that Kenny Payne knows real well and is involved with, he thinks not only was Jerry Jones going to be a big help there with the money, but Kenny Payne is going to be involved on a personal basis. And so we'll see there. The Broom kid at Auburn is coming back, which is a good plus for them. I think he's a good player. He's gotten improved a great deal. Vanderbilt beat Florida in baseball last night, 10-5. The transfer window went like this: you can transfer anytime you want to. The lady said that this was the great rule because they could make well-informed decisions. By the way, ma'am, informed money decisions. The only factor that they did change was that you won't be able to transfer at mid-year. There are 2 transfer portals, and cannot transfer at mid-year and play for a second school. So they did get that done. I don't know what the vote was. Don't really matter. Outside of that, a little bit of a slow time. Hopefully Sonny will be on. But anyway, your questions and answers and whatever you want to do, you're welcome to do it. We're going to have a pretty good show next week. I think we've already got 2 or 3 people lined up for next week, but winding up this week. So outside of that, transfer deal, golf, transfer people continue to transfer. There's no use me getting on here and trying to tell you who's going where particularly, unless a guy at Kentucky leaves, it's important. A guy at Alabama leaves, it's important. So we pretty much told you. And Mark Sears is okay as long as he doesn't get an agent, decides to come back. I have no idea what he's going to do. Barry may know more about that than I do. So that's it.
I talked to some people. I had a guy tell me yesterday that Nick Pringle, he may go to South Carolina. They said McNeese State was trying to pay him a bunch of money to go to.
Like they got McNeese.
That would be Will Wade. And the guy that told me this, he said, I could not believe I hit him. He said that they were offering him $500,000. McNeese State? No way. So I think some of these numbers are getting out of hand.
Well, they're early numbers that don't come through. And
I'd say I need that before I sign.
I would. I'd need part of my money before I sign. I would too.
They were saying Jeff Goodman said there's a lot of guys, and I believe this, are waiting to get their last NIL check before they go into the portal. You believe that?
Sure. Yeah, I do believe that. I didn't read that part of it. Yeah,
if I go into I got to wait till I get my last check. When I get my last check,
88 out the gate,
I'm getting in the portal. I believe I'd hold that last check till after, Justin, till after the portal. You can't be in the portal anymore. Oh, the check. Well, we wrote the check. Got lost in the mail. If you want the check, and I believe I would not be giving out any NIL. If you're doing NIL, JC, if you're listening, you Alabama people, any checks do not come out. When is the window closed, Justin?
The 30th.
I bet you Iowa wishes they would have held on to their checks. So don't give out your checks until the window is closed. Here's my next question. Has the luster, the glamour of Deion Sanders worn off? I don't see anything, and he's got 14 players that just went into the portal. He's trying to say, well, nobody was going to really help us. You guys hadn't seen practice. His sons are on social media saying, hit me up on my DM if you interested in transfer. And he said, well, players know players. And there was a deal out there that he said, Dad, and I quote, and I thought of you when he said this. He was too famous to go recruiting, to go to these people's homes. He was too famous.
You thought of me?
No, that you would say that he doesn't like to recruit. Not that you think you're too famous. You would definitely go into the homes. You like going to but he's too famous to go and sit up in these people's homes.
Well, sure, and the thing about it is, here's what happens. All the talk gets around among the coaches that are recruiting against him, among the parents that have sons there, to tell those other guys, better not go there. My son went there last year. To the point that the only thing you're going to see in Colorado is blue skies sometimes when it's not snowing. They're going to the bottom, just like they have been. Now, here's what they did. They made a lot of money during that period of time. Mm-hmm. They sold their tickets. They sold a lot of tickets. They had not been selling a lot of tickets. Their football was going in kind of in the sink a little bit money-wise, but they did do that. But right now, it's just like Barry said, it's going to be a booger bear for them to get back.
The honeymoon, Justin, when I'd get on social media, I mean, it would be Deion speaking to somebody's team. I don't see that anymore. Either I've stopped looking at it so it doesn't show. Sometimes if you think about something, like if I think about a product, you know how that product automatically starts showing up on your phone. If you just think about it, not even look for it. I don't see Deion Sanders on the social media stuff anymore. Why?
Well,
I'm not sure. I know the most recent thing, there's almost like a sense of desperation around this Colorado team as the most recent thing. You're right, though, Barry. You would see practice. You would see him speaking. You would see his commercials with the Aflac duck and everything like that. The most recent thing is his two sons, I believe Shedeur and Shiloh Sanders, saying, hey, we need transfers. Reach out to us if you want to transfer to Colorado.
Yeah, why are we not seeing him anymore?
I don't know. Aflac ad, the one guy's retired by the name of Nick Saban, the other ain't going to get no.
Oh, yeah, he going to still do Aflac, Coach.
No, he ain't doing no Aflac. Aflac's 88 out the gate.
You don't think?
If it is, it'll be a weak one.
What was that? I can remember. What was that commercial you did that one time?
I don't know. Which one you talking
And
about?
we were making fun of you, and Bert Sims was there, and you looked at, maybe it was Jim and Scott, I don't know. He said, I can go down to wherever that is. I can read that script. I can memorize that script. Take me about 10 minutes. I'll say that script, and I'll make more money than you two knuckleheads will the entire year. I don't remember what that was, though. Bert, you're listening. Also today, David Kindred. He's with Bryant Bank, a great commercial lender with Bryant Bank. He does color. He played baseball at Alabama, former ACA, signed with Ole Miss, went to Shelton, went to Alabama. He will be calling the Texas A&M Alabama game today. The color he's going to be on with is 8 o'clock, talk a little baseball. So look forward to talking to him.
Oh, by the way, Barry, I'm a halfway good friends with Joe West, one umpire that is absolutely everybody hates, and he is great umpire. I don't know if you ever studied umpires, but I got Joe's cell, and I'm going to call Joe in the next week or so while we're kind of going through a slow period and get Joe on. He'd love to be on. He's kicked them all out of games. He is unbelievable. People that really keep up with baseball know Joe West. So.
Tom says you've lost your touch. You can't get Vern Lundquist.
Oh, I'm going to get Vern.
But Tom says you can't do it.
Well, Tom may be right. I may not be able to get him. Vern Lundquist's been married 3 times.
What's that going to do? It means he's got checks going out everywhere.
Yeah, so they wanted to brag about how much money he was worth, but he was worth a little, but he's worth $3 million. But not
because he's paying 3 women.
Yeah, that's right. And so he met this third one at a bar.
That's not a good place to meet a woman, especially marry them.
Yeah. So, but I had this interview with him. I don't know if Tom's listening or not. This interview with him prior to the Augusta was terrific. I watched it twice.
Maybe we can get Deion on too. 2 minute truck. 2 minute truck. They're at 30. You think Auburn's glad they passed on that? 2 minute truck. They're at 1330 Martin Road East. That's where you go pick up your boxes, your packing supplies, whatever you need to make this a smooth move. As local, out of town, out of state, let the professionals handle it. They'll take great care of you and your stuff. It is very stressful, so let those guys, they'll know how to put the stuff on the truck properly. They'll unload it properly. They'll take care of your walls. So give them a call today for the estimate, whatever you need. 205-247-5050. That's 2 minute truck movers who care.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Right lane remains blocked for road work on eastbound 2059 as you approach Joe Malisham, but no big accidents or breakdowns along the way this morning. In fact, our backups remain pretty minimal. It's been a quiet Friday morning, always the words you want to hear. There is a little fog around, though, so be aware of that into and out of the T-Town region this morning. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, I'm Ray Romero.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread.
Good morning. I'm Mary Kay from the News Center, and roughly 5,000 people who work at the Mercedes-Benz U.S. International plant in Tuscaloosa County will vote on whether to join the United Auto Workers Union during a week-long period next month. For more details, be sure to tap the free Tuscaloosa
She's looking at the cigarettes, but she just grabs the gum off the counter. Stand Up to Cancer and Rally want you to reduce your risk for cancer. Go to takeahealthystand.org.
Road tripping, business travel, or bringing your car in for repairs. All great reasons to rent a Toyota at Tuscaloosa Toyota. You can rent the latest Toyota models for a day, a week, or a weekend. Every Toyota rental-car comes with 24 hours roadside assistance.
Great ideas can happen right now. Find out how to bring your ideas to life at Dell.com. Welcome to Now.
Years ago, Jimmy Rain decided that the best way to advertise Great Southern Wood was through coaches. Gene Stallings, Pat Dye, Steve Spurrier, and myself, and many more coaches took to the radio and TV airwaves to tell people that if you're building outdoors, the only way to build is with pressure-treated pine, yellow wood. It is the very, very best. Why? Because all the coaches said yellow wood, pressure-treated pine, protects against bug, termite, and weather. Decking, fencing, play sets, whatever you're wanting to build, just go to the internet, look at Yellowwood, and you will find these coaches advertised a great product. If it doesn't have that yellow tag on it, believe you me, you don't want it. It's Yellowwood.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
The weather stays warm today, mostly cloudy through tonight. A few scattered showers or thunderstorms possible. The high today 84, tonight's low 60. Tomorrow mostly cloudy. A few passing showers are likely during the day. The high 74. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 65 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Never miss a moment of the action. Download the free Tide 100.9 app today.
Yellowwood, pressure-treated pine from Great Southern Wood. If it doesn't have the yellow tag on it, you don't want it. People sending app messages this morning. We appreciate the app messages. RK Homan from Gordo says, so much for the home field advantage, playing the number one team, meaning Texas A&M. Should have played a doubleheader tomorrow. Alabama will play today at 11 in the morning, and then 45 minutes after that play the second game. So he's saying should have played the doubleheader on Saturday. I was talking to a guy last night, though, that says, like, literally the SEC gives you 3 days to get it in. If you can't get all 3 games in with 3 days, that's it. You just don't play it. So, obviously, last night was not going to happen. That's why they're playing the doubleheader early today. In case you have some weather today, then you're able to get the other game in. So, they're hoping to get 2 in and then finish up tomorrow. Also, on the app messages, guys, we got somebody from Salt Lake City. I guess Salt Lake would be Salt Lake City. You Tide said it's daddy-daughter show in Colorado. A bunch of drama queens. You're right. They are a bunch of drama queens. All right, get to the Yellowwood hotline and bring Cowboy in. Good morning, Cowboy.
Hey, Cowboy.
Good morning, Barry and Coach. Hey, Coach, Cowboy Joe West, the umpire, he kind of got suspended from the league for 1 year, but he was always controversial. That'd be great to
yeah, every time having him on. Yeah. He got suspended, boy. You argue with him, you're in trouble. He plays in a golf tournament that I play in every year down in guy from Pittsburgh Pirates, Mazeroski.
Yeah. You remember him, Eric Gregg, Harry Wendelstadt?
Yep.
I used to know all the umpires because I guess I watched more baseball back in the days when the Braves were on the Super Station.
He's been retired. Most of the people are glad of it.
Yeah, I think it's been about 2 or 3 years, but Cowboy Joe West, old Skip Terry used to rag on him, and then the Skip Terry and all that Braves announcing crew. Those guys are fun.
Well, you talk about baseball. People don't realize that Mr. Joe Sewell was in with Leo DeRocher, Babe Ruth. Oh, what a history he had. We naturally, the older we get, we don't even hardly know who those people were, but Alabama's Happy Campbell was the baseball coach when I came to Alabama, and he was a big buddy of Coach Bryant. So when Coach Bryant came, he was struggling a little bit, but when Coach Bryant came from A&M to Alabama, he kept Happy. And he and Happy used to drink coffee all the time. But Mr. Joe was before Happy, and maybe he was after Happy. And what a great, he's the guy that took his cleat and ran the cleat where it would go on a little, he's third baseman, on a little short but bunt or whatever, they would get in that cleat and go foul. And when it got in that cleat mark, it went outside the baseline before he got to third base, and it went foul. And they had to go and change that rule because of Mr. Joe.
Huh. That's interesting. It's funny you brought up Joe West, because I was going to ask Barry about maybe baseball pitching and what he with his son and everything. And then there's this guy here for the Texas Rangers team, doctor on the Tommy John surgery, has come up with some procedure that cuts the time from 18 months down to about 12 months. I can't remember his name, but
is that where Spencer Strider, he went out to Texas to have his surgery? Is that the guy he went to?
Yeah. He's revolutionized things more than Jim Andrews, Dr. Andrews did, I think.
Yeah, they have like a lot of these kids, because of the rehab. They put so much rehab on these arms, getting them back. They come back throwing even better, harder, which I think throwing so hard is why Strider probably had this problem. But anyway.
They were talking Monday night or Sunday night on the Major League broadcast. The main thing about getting to the major leagues, it's tough on the arms, but you got to throw that heat, Barry. And it works on the arms, but guys keep doing it because they want to make it to the big time.
How many, going back to, how many home visits, Dad and Cowboy, has Deion Sanders made? They gave him a $200,000 budget to use private air for home visits. How many home visits has Deion made since 2022?
I'd say 2.
Under 10.
Zero. He has not made any recruiting visits off campus. He has used 0 of the 200,000. None. Not one. Not one home visit.
He could fly to Denver or, somewhere in Colorado and see somebody use up some of his...
he says he's not hard to find, so he wants you to come to him. He's not coming to you. So we'll see how that works this year in his second year.
Well, I guess there'd be a lot of people like to see him fail, wouldn't there?
Come on, Deion. You're not going. I mean, if he would be great in the home, but he's not doing it. So, All right, Cowboy.
Well, all right, I'll let somebody else call. I thought that was interesting. I love to hear old Cowboy Joe West.
You ever hear from Bryce?
I was talking him a couple of days ago. I told him y'all had Coach Stallings on there. I think he listened.
Oh, did he? Well, give Bryce Dad's number and let him call him. They can go to Lashes. Thank you, Cowboy.
Maybe I'll call after the show and get your number, Barry, and I'll get y'all in touch with you. I'll work this thing out.
Let he and Dad work it out.
That's okay. That's not necessary.
They go to Lashes. They go to Lashes and eat. I'll pay for it.
I was just asking to see how you were.
Thank you, Cowboy.
Oh, I know.
Thank you, Cowboy. All right, back up to the Yellowwood hotline. Morning, Tom.
Hey, Tom.
Morning, Barry. Morning, Coach. How are y'all?
0 visits, Tom. Deion's not. He's not going out recruiting. He's too famous.
I don't blame him.
He's too famous.
I don't blame him. I mean, he's got a name. They should want to be going to play for him. If they don't do that, then they don't want to play at Colorado, do they?
I think he'd be pretty good in the home, though. I think he'd have a lot of people come by the house if he was there.
I like him. I tell you what, I agree with Max about Deion. Everything Max said, I've always heard about. Plus, Deion had his roommate is a orthopedic guy that was in Tuscaloosa for a while. Now he's in Birmingham, but he was my wife's doctor. Me and him used to visit about Deion, and then it was a kid that grew up here that pitched at Cincinnati when Deion was up there, and everybody you talked to that had any association with him. The kid here was Scotty Sutton, went on to Auburn and then to Cincinnati. Said he was the best teammate you could ever have. So I put a lot of stock into that.
Yeah, well, Mac will be on our show when football season starts. You know, he coached at Florida State.
Yeah. You know, he
got a lot of guys in the portal. They're not staying around for Deion. So.
Well, I can see that. Some of the things he said, that's not going to fit with this younger generation.
You think it's true what I said about what Jeff Goodman said? A lot of these guys across the country, basketball and football,
I thought that,
waiting on that last NIL check before I get into the portal.
I think you're right, and I never thought about that, but that's a good comment. But hey, I want to bring this up to y'all and see what you think. Now, I know I'm not saying it to be the facts, okay? It's just some gossip type rumor stuff I heard. All right,
we like gossip.
Yeah, I know. I do too. Can you tell?
Yeah.
But I was listening to some guys out of Memphis yesterday on their radio show, and they got to kicking around NIL and this, that, and the other. And Arkansas came up with Calipari and all this kind of stuff. Of course, I think y'all had already said this earlier a day or two ago, but that Jerry Jones come out and said anything that they were paying anybody at Kentucky or anybody they were going to sign at Kentucky, he would double the NIL. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
I think
yeah. It was out there. Now, whether it was true or not, I don't know, but it makes for good radio talk.
Right. But, all right, then the second level of that discussion went on to who's safe and who's not at Arkansas, and that the Jerry Jones and the Tyson and the Hunt and Axiom CEO and all these people that are loaded.
Walmart.
Yeah, Walmart, the Walton family, all of them.
Stevens.
That love Arkansas. They just said, okay, I tell you what, we, and Pittman is, he's not going to be there after this year. You can go ahead and write that down because they got him in the crosshairs. But they're fixing to go all out on their sports program at Arkansas. And, all these people, and Barry, here's my thing, and this is what I want y'all to say. They're up there going, we got all this money. We ain't going to be able to take it with us when we're gone. It's more than we'll ever spend. By God, we're going to have something at Arkansas we can be proud of. And if money is going to be the reason, that's not going to stop us. And they're going out. They're talking about Lincoln Riley. Now, here's one they throwed out there.
Lincoln Riley's terrible.
I know it, but they throw Coach Saban's name out there in the discussion. Nobody that means anything said it now. I'm not saying that. But they said that $20 million a year, would he go for that, and that they would pay it.
You think it'd be a good rumor if Barry and I said that we got a rumor that Coach was going to Arkansas as head coach?
For $20 million? But they had a guy yesterday, he's right about this. Let me ask you this, Tom. You keep up with everything. Does Alabama have a donor that's worth $1 billion?
No.
Arkansas has 5.
That's right.
5.
That's right.
5. So most of these schools don't have
billion. Not just $1 billion. They're worth more than $1 billion.
Stevens.
Jones is the Dallas Cowboys
they're worth $9 billion. Yeah. So they have 5 of them. So if you go around the country and you start naming schools, how many billionaires they have, well, Arkansas is going to be right there with.
That's right.
The most.
You're exactly right, and this is what they're saying. Here it started with Calipari. Now, shoot me down if I'm wrong. This is me reading between the lines. They go, we're going to go get him because we think he's the best you can get, and so we're going to go get him. And money's not going to be an object for what we want to do with our sports program. It's going to be that way with everything involved. And they're sitting back going, we got baseball right where we want it.
Mm-hmm.
It's right where we want it. Now we're going to move on. We got basketball going. Now we're going to move on to football. Do you believe that?
They tell me that Mark Pope tried to hire Kenny Payne, and Arkansas said, whatever they're paying him, we're going to pay him more. So it don't matter where they go, we're going higher.
That's right. That's kind of what I'm. You see, that's
it's
kind of my point.
the what you and Dad hate. It's the LIV mentality.
Right, exactly.
We're just going to go to a number. You go to your number, we'll go to our number. We'll let them look at the numbers.
Well, I tell you, I've seen that over the years. There's a big land company here. You're very familiar with them and all like that. And they decide that there's a piece of land that joins their property, but it's owned by somebody else, and they want it, and it goes up in an auction. You sit there all day long and bid all you want to. Guess what? They're just going to keep adding to it, and they're going to get it. And that's what's going on right now. You know, that's what I associate it with.
Yeah. So, anyway.
Yeah, but isn't that kind of wild how things are starting to shake out? And $20 million a year. Could Coach Saban turn that down? Really? Could he turn $20 million down?
I don't. What if he said no to that? They could just say, well, all right, 25.
Yeah.
Dad, is there any number that Nick Saban would go to Arkansas to coach at?
Well, he'd have to knock on Miss Terry's door to see what she said.
Yeah. You think
I believe that.
You think she's getting tired of him being at home?
I got a complaint about Coach Stallings' interview the other day.
Okay. He was in town. He was in town yesterday.
I saw that.
Yeah, he had his wife.
I saw that. And I thought the little video I saw of him talking about the new coach and
something for the Rise Center.
Oh,
it's that time of year.
Yeah. What was your complaint?
My complaint was this: he started talking about his garden. Y'all interrupted and wouldn't let him finish.
Yeah.
I wanted to hear about it.
Yeah.
Tomato. He said he's baking tomatoes.
He said they were taking them into church.
Well, we don't know if he did or not. He said tomato, and y'all jumped in there and shut that off because y'all hate gardening.
No, he said that the little old ladies used to get them after church, and now they're getting them before because they got to get their pick of the litter. They get their pick of the litter on the tomatoes.
I know. I tell you what, he's a star out there at that congregation. But anyway, I wanted to hear about his process. He was saying they'd had a lot of rain and stuff, and y'all shut him right down. I wanted to hear what his solution was to it.
I don't think Dad could hear him, and he started talking over his answer.
I couldn't hear him. I couldn't hear him at all.
Hey, anyway, thanks for having him on. It was good to hear from him.
Yeah, so thank you, Tom.
Don't be a Jimmy Rain fan.
Tom, he can't get Vern Lundquist. He's tried, but he can't do it.
He's going to get him. Don't worry. Don't give up on him.
He thinks gouging me, Tom's going to make me do it.
I thought he was going to be able to get us Charles Barkley. He can't get him either.
Oh, I can get Barkley. Who wants Barkley?
That's right. There you go, Coach. You said it. But Vern's going to, when he finds out it's you that was just wanting him to come on the show, he's going to jump right in there.
I talked to he and his wife on the telegram.
Which one?
Telegraph.
Which
Both
wife?
of them.
Which wife?
The one he met in the bar.
All you college students listening, you don't want to meet your wife.
There were two gals that walked up, or either he had a gal with him, and he looked over and
Go
saw
meet
her.
your wife at the church.
He went around the other two girls and met this girl.
Huh.
Like Barry, go to church to meet your wife.
Yeah, you're not going to meet her on the strip. You're not going to meet her there.
He did her.
But anyway.
If I ever get him on, I ain't bringing it up.
I'll ask him.
Don't.
Barry, you ain't bringing him up.
We'll talk about him like a dog after he gets off.
Yeah, we'll cut you up. We got Nick Saban. We got him going to West Virginia and Arkansas now. So you don't get this. You don't get this on the other shows, Tom.
You're exactly right. That's why this show is number one in my heart.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
See y'all.
See you. All right, let's talk about Bob Prince and Prince Glover and Hayes.
Well, attorneys are important. And Prince Glover and Hayes at 345-1234 can represent you if an accident that you have that was not necessary, or is that somebody comes after you and because they're mad at you that was not necessary. All these not necessary things, Prince Glover and Hayes have been down that road. And they will listen to you, what you have to say. They will recommend to you whether you should go forward with it. If you should, you go by 701 Riceline Road and visit with them in detail then, and they will go out and they will represent you, and you will win. Prince Glover and Hayes, 345-1234.
PrinceLaw.net is the website. I always remember, if they don't win, you don't pay not one penny out of the pocket to sit down with these guys. You're just a Tide 100.9. It's the home of Alabama sports.
No representation is made that the quality of services performed is greater than the quality of services performed by other lawyers.
Go inside the Alabama Crimson Tide with the Gary Harris Show.
Hey, everybody, it's Gary Harris. Friday morning at 9 a.m., the TGIF edition of the Gary Harris Show, featuring our Krispy Kreme Donuts for a Year and T-shirt giveaway. Plus, Adam Amin from Fox Sports will join us, as will Brett Pritchard with the Auburn Report. Your phone calls and all that great music to get you ready for the weekend. Friday.
For an annual plan by April 20th, get one application free. Visit TrueGreen.com for the best lawn at the best price, guaranteed. Restrictions apply.
The Alabama Securities Commission protects you from financial fraud. Anyone asking you for investment money must be licensed. You're careful with your money. Fraudsters aren't. Before you invest, call our hotline at 1-800-222-1253 to verify the licensing of the person making an offer and the product. Don't lose your hard-earned money. Learn to protect yourself at asc.alabama.gov. Paid for by the Investor Protection Trust and brought to you by the Alabama Broadcasters Association and this station.
Road tripping, business travel, or bringing your car in for repairs. All great reasons to rent a Toyota at Tuscaloosa Toyota. You can rent the latest Toyota models for a day, a week, or a weekend. Every Toyota rental-car comes with 24 hours roadside assistance and is backed by an entire team of people you know and trust. Rent a Toyota and let's go places. Reserving yours is a breeze at TuscaloosaToyota.com.
My caretaker was very rough with me. I thought they did it because I wasn't moving fast enough.
Elder abuse is a crime, and together we can stop it. If you or someone you know has been abused, neglected, or exploited, call the Adult Abuse Hotline at 1-800-458-7214. That's 1-800-458-7214. Sponsored by the Alabama Department of Human Resources, the Department of Justice, ADECA grant number 18VA-VS050, the ABA, and this station.
Mr. SEC Tournament Wimp Sanderson gives you his excellent analysis every weekday on Inside the Locker Room, right here on Tide 100.9.
Well, welcome back to Inside the Locker Room. Pressure treated pine from Great Southern Wood. If it doesn't have the yellow tag on it, then believe me, you don't want it. I want to ask you guys this. Now, don't say no immediately. Think it through. Do you guys think NIL, should you be able to pay high school kids NIL? If we're giving it to all these college guys and they're getting whatever they want, should we be able to, should it trickle down now to high school? What's the difference in high school and college? Should we be able to do it? Some states are saying you can. Some states are saying you can't. So I know the Alabama high school football coaches are nervous because I think Georgia's saying you can, so they're afraid they're going to start losing their kids to the state of Georgia. Should we be able to pay high school kids if one state's doing it? Should the other state be able to do it?
I would say off the top of my head, no.
No. Why?
I just think when you get into money with kids, that parents who are not working, some parents work and do a good job. Some parents don't want to work at all. Some parents and some daddies are lay around and drink and don't do any work at all. And I think it would lead to I got a son that's pretty good, so I'm going to see. Ain't no use me having to work. I'm not coming to work.
If they're not doing that his senior high school, they're going to do that when he's a freshman.
Well, I think the longer you can prolong it, then my answer to you is the longer you can prolong it, the better off you are. Now, that's just me.
Justin, pay NIL to high school kids. Now in Alabama, you can't do it. You give them money now, ineligible. They ain't even know. There's no gray area. What do you think?
Yeah, I think the states, Missouri was one of the first to do it, and like you said, Georgia as well. I think yes, and this is why I think yes. The scenario in my head with cell phones and social media and everything, we see a lot of younger people becoming ultra celebrities. We see the TikToks and all this sort of thing. They're allowed, outside of, if it's music or something like that, outside of sports, they're allowed to profit off of their name, image, and likeness. They can do brand deals. They can take money to go do events and everything like that. For athletes, I think it should be the same way.
But can they not do that if a guy's got a ton of followers, but he's playing basketball at Northridge, he can't make money off his followers?
Well, see, that's the issue I think you're running into, though, is, and it's the same with the college game, is how do you regulate that to make sure that they're not getting, that it's not like a pay-for-play situation?
Well, that's what it is now, though. We're getting these collectives. It's not even NIL anymore for college. Dad, I think some of the states are trying to pass this. If you take NIL money, you can get NIL money, but you have to go to college in that state.
That wouldn't be a bad idea.
But I'm saying if you're Alabama, you're sitting there saying, what? So you're telling me the kid, that hotshot running back in Atlanta, Georgia, if he takes NIL money, he has to go to Georgia Tech. We can't even get him?
I don't know.
I know y'all are looking at me like I'm crazy, but,
no, I'm not.
But the stuff that's out there now is crazy. That what's going on.
So then would you be restricted to only getting NIL deals from companies within your state?
Maybe. I've heard that a lot of those states are saying, yeah, if you're in that state, yeah. I just had somebody text me saying no NIL for high school, but. If it goes down to the courts, why is the court going to treat a high school kid any different than he's treating an 18-year-old college kid? What's the difference?
Yeah, they're not going to. I think we're going to see the courts rule in favor of the high school kids getting NIL.
Yeah, Dad, will the courts rule any different if it gets to court? And I hate the NIL stuff the way it is now. But if the courts get involved, Dad, is that something that they would win?
Yeah.
Why did that change? It used to not be, when you went to court with the NCAA, did people not take it to court? What changed all this? I mean, everybody says Ed O'Bannon, but that was back in the 80s. So that didn't really make an immediate change with this. When I started hearing why these guys are leaving Alabama, if it's true what the guy told me yesterday that Nick Pringle can command that kind of money and he only has 1 year left, first of all, you can't blame Nick Pringle. Is that the right system that you want in place? It's almost amazing to me that this is where we've come to. Will there be coaches, Dad, lose their jobs over making bad NIL decisions that the booster that put the money in there when they start paying a kid a certain amount and he's not any good and they misevaluated him in recruiting? Will a guy lose his job over that? Probably. A coach?
I think in all cases, there's some cases that would happen. I don't know in all cases it would happen, but it's the guys in a situation now that it's just anything's open and money's the deal, and I think you can go up with all kinds of scenarios that you want to decide what's good, bad, or none of the above. But when it comes down to it, it's what am I getting, and everybody else has been getting it at work. Why am I playing basketball or football and not getting paid?
Yeah. Well, I've said all along, and it's probably not possible to do, but if they could not make money the freshman year, if you transfer, you're not eligible for NIL or collective for a year, I think that would cut down on a lot of this stuff. Well, Justin, what message is it sending? I think it's a very positive message that we don't see a lot of these football players getting in transfer portal here in Tuscaloosa. What does that say to you?
Well, like you said at the beginning of the show, we still have a little while before
they're waiting on the last
closes.
check.
Yeah. I think the core group of guys that stayed are the leaders of this team. Malachi Moore, Booker. They've kind of set this standard for we're here. Like, we're going to stay. We have a legacy to build after Coach Saban, and surprisingly, you don't see that anymore across the college landscape, and I think that might be a big part of it.
Is that a good sign that right now, as of I guess they got 12 more days, is that a good sign that Alabama football is not having a lot of guys go to the portal?
You talking to me?
Yeah, you talking to me? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a good sign. I think I don't know how many they got to go, but there's some that wanted to go. There's some that even with his attitude, he's not going to spread it around, but in his mind, he's going to tell his assistant coaches and the guy that works for him that's in charge of the transfer portal, that's okay, let him go. And they walk into coach and say, what we need to do about this kid, he's wanting this much to stay. And then I have to find out from the head coach if he's willing to give him this much. And I got to go get it. Now, you got an athletic director who hired the head coach. That's a double plus because we want him to be successful. And if it goes from assistant coach to head coach to athletic director, it could in some cases. It could in some cases. You want him that bad, coach? You think he's that good? He's pretty darn good. We'll see what we can do.
Yeah, all right. I'm not going to ask you this one, Dad. I'll ask you this one, Justin. Is it a bad sign that all the basketball players are leaving? What is that saying about the basketball culture over there? Or is it just, hey, these guys had a successful year. They were on the national stage. That happens in the NBA playoffs sometimes. A guy has a great playoff and it's in the contract year, and he gets way more money than he should. Is that what's happening in basketball? You got Nick Pringle, didn't have a very good year, played really good in the NCAA tournament. So he's going to capitalize on his popularity right now. Riley Griffin. Yeah, Riley. Well, I'm talking about money-wise.
Yeah.
I mean, he's, when you get in the NBA, those guys, you have a great year in your contract year, you get paid way more than you should. Even Grant Nelson didn't have a very good, he had an okay year, but the NCAA tournament that he had, somebody will probably overpay for that because it was the last thing that you saw. Is that what we're seeing, what's going on with Alabama basketball?
Yeah, I think the Grant Nelson particularly, just like, have you thought of a single game, the one game where he took over in the tournament?
North Carolina.
North Carolina. That has made a player maybe more money. Just the one game, I think, because, like you said, Grant Nelson's probably got some eyes on him now from the NBA or other teams willing to pay up a large NIL sum to get him. I think basketball, I'm not worried about the culture. I think because it's such a smaller roster and team.
Not culture, but his success causes these guys to be worth more money.
Yeah.
And so
I think that's fair.
It ends them saying, hey, I got 1 year left. I got 2 years left. I'm going to go cash in. So I think it's harder to retain. Duke's losing like 5 guys. Now, Duke didn't go that far, but if you go to Duke, then you usually have a pretty big name. All right, I don't know. It's just something to think about. Well, you guys can chime in with it, 205-342-9904. Take this break. You listen to Tide 100.9 and 1230 AM WTBC. It's the home of Alabama sports.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. We're looking at a 7-minute drive along 2059 from the 359 out to Skyland Boulevard. If you're traveling along McFarland, the drive from Airport to Jack Warner on the eastbound side, that'll take you about 10 minutes. And northbound 69 from 15th Street down to Middle Airy Road, a 14-minute drive. Really aren't seeing any major problem spots for the moment. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, I'm Ray Romero.
Coming up on The Game with Ryan Fowler.
Coming up on the Free For All Friday edition presented by Brian Harden Construction. We're going to give away another big pair of those Travis Tritt concerts. We'll talk to Brent Beard. We're going to take your phone calls. We're going to have a lot of fun starting at 2 p.m. here on The Game on Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
The longest running sports program.
40% off all of our other colors. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
The weather stays warm today, mostly cloudy through tonight. A few scattered showers or thunderstorms possible. The high today 84, tonight's low 60. Tomorrow mostly cloudy. A few passing showers are likely during the day. The high 74. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 66 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Stay up to date with the Crimson Tide. Local high school sports and Bama in the pros right here on Tide 100.9.
Welcome back to Inside the Locker Room. Pressure treated pie from Great Southern Wood. If it doesn't have the yellow tag on it, then believe me, guys, you don't want it. You're going to build the 5-star backyard. Go to yellowwood.com to find the dealer that is closest to you. We're going to take this top of the hour break in just a minute. We're going to have David Kindred in. David is with Bryant Bank. He's a commercial banker there at Bryant Bank, but also does color for the SEC Network. He'll be on the call today for Alabama, Texas A&M. The first pitch will be at 11. Hopefully, it's a little cloudy out here, so hopefully that will happen. Dad, how do you, as a coach, we didn't ever have to deal with rainouts in basketball. You got your guys all charged up to play last night against a great opportunity to play the number one team in the nation. It gets postponed. They're going to pitch at 11 today and then play a game 45 minutes after. A very important series for Alabama. They're projected as a 2 seed, meaning they'd have to travel. But if they could, maybe get 2 out of 3 in this series to give them a chance to get a 1 seed, what do you do as a coach to try to get these guys refocused back and do something that's a little bit different today?
Yeah, it's a little bit difficult, but you do everything you can with your ground crew in advance, knowing that a rain's going to come. Knowing that problem's going to come, to be darn sure that you're set and ready to go so that you might have a chance to play the game. As you said, you can't tell whether it's going to be bad or not. Well, you don't gamble like that with your field. You make darn sure. Now, with your players, you just try to encourage them and tell them they're fixing to play and, talk about the importance of the game. Every game has the same importance to it, but a little bit more than in the minds of your kids. A&M does because they're ranked so high. So, I think pitching. If the pitching's ready, and you means you've got pretty good defense. If the pitching's good, they're not going to worry you out. If you can hit a lick, you got a chance. So it should be. We've had a lot of teams falter from one year to the next. LSU's baseball has gone down. So we had. Visitor yesterday.
Yeah, Ron Higgins. Yeah.
Mississippi State and Ole Miss have won big, and then the next year, lo and behold, they've gone down. Auburn is going through a situation where they've been pretty good and they're way down. For whatever reason, the fluctuation of the kids that are with you are gone, or whatever, and for some reason your pitching is not there, which is the mainstay of your team. But it's amazing to me. You see ups and downs in basketball, and you see ups and downs in football to some extent. But it seems to me like in baseball, the ups and downs are quicker. They happen fairly often among teams that are playing for a national championship. They just got to fight it to get it back to where it was.
Yeah. All right, we'll take this top of the hour break. We'll get David in. We'll visit with him about Bryant Bank, but also about the game today. He'll be on the call for both games. As Alabama takes on Texas A&M, so just tell your boss you're going to take an early lunch and then just don't go back. Go out there and watch a little baseball at 11 o'clock out at the jail. That park is really nice, and they you get up in those suite areas and that home play club and all that. They did a really good job with the field there. I think they were going to have a great crowds over the weekend here, so hopefully the weather will hold up and the people can come today. You listen to Tide 100.9 and 1230 AM WTBC. It's the home of Alabama sports.
receiving unemployment, your benefits could be at risk. Here's how you can protect yourself and your benefits. Never respond to mail notifying you of a false claim in your name. Never answer a text message asking you to verify your account. And only respond to official Alabama Department of Labor's social media pages. Report fraud at labor.alabama.gov/fraud. Brought to you by the Alabama Department of Labor, ABA, and the station. The Alabama Department of Labor is an equal opportunity employer program. Auxiliary aids and services available upon request to individuals with disabilities. Dial 711 for TTY accessibility.
Road tripping, business travel, or bringing your car in for repairs. All great reasons to rent a Toyota at Tuscaloosa Toyota. You can rent the latest Toyota models for a day, a week, or a weekend. Every Toyota rental-car comes with 24 hours roadside assistance.
Silk almond milk.
With calcium, vitamins A, D, and E.
Feel plenty good.
Years ago, Jimmy Rain decided that the best way to advertise Great Southern Wood was through coaches. Gene Stallings, Pat Dye, Steve Spurrier, and myself, and many more coaches took to the radio and TV airwaves to tell people that if you're building outdoors, the only way to build is with pressure-treated pine, yellow wood. It is the very, very best. Why? Because all the coaches said yellow wood, pressure-treated pine, protects against bug, termite, and weather. Decking, fencing, play sets, whatever you're wanting to build, just go to the internet, look at Yellowwood, and you will find these coaches advertised a great product. If it doesn't have that yellow tag on it, believe you me, you don't want it. It's Yellowwood.
It's the Tide 100.9 30K Workday Payday. Woo! Win cash every weekday 8 to 5. Here's this hour's cash code.
462. Again, that's 462. The code is 462.
Enter that code now on the Tide 100.9 app. Click on the 30K Payday button and enter the code for a chance to win $30,000.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Eddie Garcia.
The NBA was off Thursday night. Coming up tonight, you got the final two play-in games to decide the 8th seed in both the East and the West. In the East, it's the Heat hosting the Bulls. Winner will take on the number 1 seed, the Boston Celtics. Miami will not have star Jimmy Butler. He's out several weeks with an MCL injury. In the West, the Pelicans host the Kings. Winner gets the number 1 seed, Denver Nuggets. No Zion Williamson for New Orleans. He's out with a hamstring injury and will be reevaluated in 2 weeks. NHL, final day of the regular season, and there were a couple of playoffs matchups that needed to be decided. Out west, Kings beat the Blackhawks 5-4 in overtime, while the Golden Knights lost to the Ducks 4-1. So LA's win and Vegas's loss means the Kings will face the Edmonton Oilers in the first round of the playoffs, while the defending Stanley Cup champion Golden Knights will face the number 1 seed in the West, the Dallas Stars. In baseball, the Guardians down the Red Sox 5-4. Was the Rangers outslugging the Tigers 9-7. Rays get by the Angels 2-1. Giants shut out the Diamondbacks 5-0.
Inside the Locker Room with former Crimson Tide basketball coach Wimp Sanderson and his son, former SEC and ACC assistant basketball coach Barry Sanderson. It's time to take you inside the locker room on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Well, welcome back to the second hour of Inside the Locker Room as we kick off this 8 o'clock hour. I think Allstate agent Andrew Kniffer. Andrew's my agent. Let him become yours. He's out at 4705 McFarland Boulevard, Suite 3 over in Northport. You look for Home Life Auto. Andrew is your guy. Give him a call today for the free estimate, 205-722-9201. I'll get right to the Andrew Kniffer hotline. We're very fortunate. Obviously, Bryant Bank is one of our, one of our great sponsors. David Kindred is the commercial lender there for Bryant Bank, but also was a big-time baseball player here at ACA. 3 state championships, Justin and Dad. Not many guys, probably nobody, could say 3 state championships. Signed with Ole Miss, played at Ole Miss, went to Shelton, finished up at Alabama. Will be on the call today for the Alabama, Texas A&M doing color. I'm assuming that's on the SEC network. David Kindred. Good morning, David. How you doing?
Hey, David. Good morning, Coach. Good morning, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Sure. You check a lot of boxes for us today. Before we get into any of the sports stuff, let's talk Bryant Bank with you for a minute. Just talk about your time there and what you do there for Bryant Bank.
Yeah. Thank you. And again, thank y'all for being a sponsor with Bryant Bank. Bryant Bank, and I've heard y'all, listen to y'all talk about it, being here at Bryant Bank, Mr. Bryant put the bank together for the local community, and being a bank here, most important part is, helping local community, whether that's you personally or business-wise, reach your goal. And one piece of that is to financially, whether that's protecting your money through a checking account, help you make that grow, and or on the lending side, where we have a handful of lenders here, whether that's your business, to help, like I said, reach your goal, whether that's financing some real estate, some heavy duty equipment, or some lines of credit. We're like I said, we're here for the local business here in Tuscaloosa and all throughout the state.
Well, David, we appreciate that. We appreciate you guys being a great sponsor. We know there's 4 great locations here, but you guys are spread out throughout the state. So if you guys need great help, David and these guys at Bryant Bank will do a great job for you. All right, let's talk a little baseball. Let's go back to your high school days, David, here locally, because it's perfect timing. The state playoffs start today. My son's actually out at Northridge. They'll take on Saraland today. I know ACA has a series. You guys won 3 straight. Just talk about the times of playing high school baseball and how special that was to you.
It was it was a very unique time, like I said, going through in 03 to 06 and kind of getting ACA on on the sports platform. We were fortunate enough to have some really good players. I got to play with Chris Smelly, who was quarterback at South Carolina, and he actually transferred back to play baseball here. And
sure,
Dale Howell, who's actually played at ACA with me and played at Alabama, and he's the head coach at ACA. And I'm very well aware of what's going on with ACA. My dad's out there actually helping Coach Dale. So again, playoff baseball. The big time, and like I said, when you kind of set that expectation for schools and win some state championships, that was a lot of fun, and it's kind of like we all talk about. Some of the funnest times that you have is in the high school arena. Once you get past the high school arena, it turns into a business. As y'all know, it gets more serious, and it's just a business.
Yeah. Before Dad jumps in, talk a little bit about your journey. You signed with Ole Miss out of high school. You go over there for a year or two. You end up coming back to Shelton and finishing up 2 years here at Alabama. Just talk about your college experience with college baseball.
Sure. And so out of high school, had the opportunity. I actually, had a couple of offers. I actually wanted to go play. I know your son going to play for Coach Butch Thompson. Butch Thompson was actually assistant coach at Auburn when I was coming through there, and I really wanted to play for him. They just, at the time, as y'all know, baseball's restricted, and when the scholarship standpoint, they just didn't have any scholarships at the time. I wanted to play for Butch Thompson. I think the world of him, but had an offer from Coach Bianco to go play out there. And this is wonderful. The thing that's changed so much, and as y'all know, with the high school arena, with training and working out, a lot of these kids are, so much more advanced than when we were, coming through high school. If you were lucky, if you had somebody that was just watching y'all, but there was no type of workout regimen for the most part in high school. You're on your own. And when I got to college at Ole Miss, I'll be honest with you, training and going to class, working out, practicing every single day. I mean, it was a transition for me. My first workout at Ole Miss, I tore 3 ligaments in my wrist. First workout, and being a left-handed batter, trying to whip the bat through the zone, that kind of just I was out for over a year with that. So that was the opportunity for me to transition and transfer. And it's, it's one of those, I had to go through, it wasn't the transfer portal where you could just immediately be eligible. I had to do the Ole Miss, go to Shelton State, which was a great opportunity to go out there and play for Coach Proud, because I needed to get to the bat, and played 1 year for Shelton State, and then had the opportunity to go finish at Alabama for 2 years, and 2010 and 2011, and played on a really good team. We were, we say, 1 inch away from going to Omaha. We went super regional against Clemson, and had a really good older team.
Yeah, that.
I think golf and baseball, and I coached Little League baseball and all that on that level, but I think golf and baseball are the two sports that's very, very difficult to reach your potential. And I don't think the average fan understands that. I mean, you got to be a dang good shortstop, or a darn good pitcher, or a guy that can really, you can play some, but moving on up to where you did to, all the way up, although it's a slow sport in the minds of people who watch sports. I think baseball and maybe somewhat golf are the two sports that I think basketball, you can move faster than football too than the skill of baseball and golf. I don't know what you think about that. That's maybe a crazy question.
No, it's not, Coach Wimp. I think you obviously coached at the highest level of basketball. I know you like to play some golf, but you know as well as I do in golf, it's a mental game more than it is a swing. And I always talk to some parents and kids as they're raising their kids. No matter what sport you're playing, it's really important to have some basics and a groundwork of mechanics to learn how to pitch or learn how to hit. But at the end of the day, it comes down to confidence. And you know as well as I do. I mean, you probably coach some guys that mechanically or skill wise may not have been the best ones, but if they were confident and they were played to their game, it's a real thing. And baseball and golf are one of those where
you can lose it. You can lose it quick if you have a bad day and you're a young kid. You can lose that confidence quick, and when you in other sports you not necessarily do so because in other sports you can run out there and hit somebody or shoot, but I think you lose it very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was out playing. We were playing it. I heard y'all were talking about the Rice tournament. I think it's a 2-day tournament yesterday. We were out there playing and got to hear from Coach DeBoer, and Chris Stewart was out there. So we got to hear from them and playing some golf. And I mean, I love playing golf, but it's one of those, just like anything, you have to be consistently playing that to be any good. It's just hard to walk out there and just play good golf. And like I said, it's a mental game. Baseball and golf, there's so much downtime, and it's a game of, at least for baseball, it's a supreme game of failure, and you got to have some strong wit to continue playing.
That's right.
Yeah. The funny thing, you hear a guy like Michael Jordan, they play in those pro-ams, and they'll tell you the most nervous I've ever been in sports is hitting the ball at the first tee with everybody watching. Here's a guy that's won 6 NBA titles and probably one of the greatest athletes of all time, but being able to hit that golf ball in front of people. All right, we didn't call you to talk golf. Let's talk baseball. You'll be on the call today, Alabama, Texas A&M. Coach Vaughn's done a good job. This is a gritty team. Took 2 out of 3 against Arkansas. Very rarely, I don't know if this has ever happened, we get to play the number 1 team at home 2 weekends in a row. Alabama projected as a 2 seed right now, maybe to go to Virginia. I think I saw in the latest projections there. But I'll tell you, David, if they could take 2 out of 3 against Texas A&M, that'll give them a chance maybe to get that 1 seed. Just talk about this version of the Alabama baseball team.
Yeah, it's to come off last weekend taking 2 or 3 from a really good Arkansas team, and the tough sledding continues by playing the now number 1 ranked Texas A&M Aggies. Texas A&M comes in with a lot of thump. Offensively, they really swing the stick. They got 3 guys that have got over 13 home runs already, and they've really, dominated SEC play. And you talked about RPI and going through the gauntlet of SEC. Y'all coached it. As you know, it's no matter what, home field advantage in SEC baseball has been a major factor that the home team, there have been very, very few weekend series where the road team actually have won. I think it's like less than 3 or 4 at this point right now. But nonetheless, Texas A&M coming off, they played Vanderbilt last week and I think they swept them.
Yeah, they swept Vandy. Yeah.
Swept Vandy, and I think for Alabama, and we talk about, as y'all know, baseball is such an arms game, and from the start of your starting rotation, Alabama has just been hit with an injury bug of guys getting hurt. They lost Riley Quick the first weekend, who was their projected Saturday starter. They lost their Sunday starter in Hagan Banks in the Georgia series, but they seem to piece it together. And Zane Adams, who pitched for them Sunday against Arkansas, went 8 innings against Arkansas.
Incredible.
As a true freshman. It was an unbelievable performance. He was SEC pitcher of the week, freshman pitcher of the week. So, you're getting a lot of confidence. Like I said, if you're going to play the number one team the next week, you've shown that you can do it at the house. And last week against Arkansas. But like I said, it gets harder. It doesn't get any easier. It gets a very good offensive Texas A&M squad. And Texas A&M's kind of had the opposite. Their starting rotation, for the most part, has been the exact same right out the gate since their first weekend. They're going to roll out Ryan Prager, Tanner Jones, and Justin Lampton. Tanner Jones is actually a high school kid from Thorsby, Alabama, transferred from Jacksonville State, so he might have to be amped up for this game today. But, yes, doubleheader today starting at 11. Next game starts 45 minutes after. So if you got some time on Friday today, get out there and watch the Tide against a very good Texas A&M squad.
Yeah. Dap?
Pitching wise, what's the most effective change up? How hard you can throw it if you're a youngster? They go analytical more than I've ever seen in my life. Talk a little bit about what they look at and think about with pitchers.
I'm glad you brought that up. I think you're seeing more and more of, it's just like whatever the pro sports is doing, it trickles down to the college level. From the college level, it trickles down to the high school level. And I think I know where you're going with this question is we've got all these analytics from spin rate to tracking, obviously your velocity, how tight your slider is spinning. And I think I don't think there's anything wrong with data. I don't think there's anything wrong with the technology, but I think you're telling a lot of these kids all the way through high school, college, that this is the metric that we're grading you. And I'm not saying this is across the board, but you hear a lot of these major league pitchers. The reality is just think of it like a NASCAR vehicle. I mean, versus your personal vehicle, you keep putting so much stress on that motor on a NASCAR vehicle versus your personal one. You're naturally going to have more injury and repair work that you got to do with them. And I think for these younger kids, they're tracking velocity. And I think I don't know how you fix this, but the reality is, and Coach Berry knows this with his kid, I mean, that's how you get seen is by, for the most part, you got to have velocity. But I think you got to be able to take those analytics and say, this is a training mechanism to help you improve your game, but it should not dictate how you pitch in your mechanics. I hope that makes sense. It's just, there's so much information out there, but to answer your question, I always thought that being able to teach a kid, obviously being able to locate fastballs, that was obviously groundwork 101, locating a fastball. And obviously as you progress, you learn how to throw a slider, a curveball, but a pitcher that had a good changeup, if you can incorporate a changeup and that's less stress on your arm from a whip standpoint, it makes your fastball so much better. So, but I think in today's high school arena, we've got so much of this analytics out there but it's not bad. To me, it's a training metric, and it should be only a training metric.
Yeah, Lance Cormier and I talk about that all the time. He says, I want to know what's in your gut. What you know, sometimes you have to manage off a feel and coach off a feel and put that analytics to the side. Anybody who's ever played and coached, I think, you know, you got to have a feel for that. And sometimes you just see it in the guy's eyes, David, and sometimes you don't. And you put the analytics to the side in those situations. All right, before we let you go, just tell everybody how they can get in touch with you out there at Bryant Bank for anything commercial lending. If anything else that they need from Bryant Bank, I'm sure you could direct them in the right spot.
Absolutely. Like I said, Bryant Bank, we have 4 locations here in Tuscaloosa. If we can help you with anything banking related, or talk to you about you personally, or how your business you're trying to grow and trying to reach those goals, we'd love to talk with you. We have a wealth of very knowledgeable bankers. I can be reached at 205-464-4661. Again, it's 205-464-4661. We'd love to help you out if we can in and around West Alabama.
You need to find you a better set of friends than Bert Sims, though, David. So I don't know what you're doing there, but anyway, I just kid. Dave, we appreciate it, my man. Look forward to I'm gonna call you off there. I have a couple things I want to run by you, talk to you about. Appreciate you being on with us, man. Good luck on the call today.
Thank you, Coach. Thanks for having me on.
All right, thank you. There's David Kindred with Alabama Baseball today, 11 o'clock, first pitch, doubleheader today, so get out there and support this Alabama baseball team who takes on the number 1 Texas A&M Aggies. You listen to Tide 100.9 and 1230 AM WTBC. It's the home of Alabama sports.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. We have picked up a stalled vehicle westbound 2059 near the Buttermilk Road exit in Cottondale. However, we're not seeing much of any backup through the area there. Looks pretty quiet if you're traveling along the main lanes of 69 coming up from Hale County towards the Tuscaloosa.
Or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
Serving part-time in the Army National Guard has led to a lot of firsts for me. It paid for me to be the first person in my family to go to school. That education got me to the first day at my dream job, which I can still hold while I serve part-time. That job and the home loan benefits I got from the Army National Guard helped me buy my first house.
So you don't forget that it's not just for late night.
Introducing the new Cantina Chicken Menu, Taco Bell. At participating U.S. Taco Bell locations while supplies last. Contact store for participation which varies.
Are you receiving unemployment? Your benefits could be at risk. Here's how you can protect yourself and your benefits. Never respond to mail notifying you of a false claim in your name. Never answer a text message asking you to verify your account. And only respond to official Alabama Department of Labor's social media pages. Report fraud at labor.alabama.gov/fraud. Brought to you by the Alabama Department of Labor, ABA, and the station. The Alabama Department of Labor is an equal opportunity employer program. Auxiliary aids and services available upon request to individuals with disabilities. Dial 711 for TTY accessibility.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
The weather stays warm today, mostly cloudy through tonight. A few scattered showers or thunderstorms possible. The high today 84, tonight's low 60. Tomorrow mostly cloudy. A few passing showers are likely during the day. The high 74. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 67 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Inside the Locker Room with Wimp and Barry on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back to Inside the Locker Room. Tuscaloosa Toyota. Go to the website, TuscaloosaToyota.com. They revamped the website. Man, all the things you need are right there. You look at all the new inventory, the used inventory. You can buy 3 tires and get one for $1. You got maybe, 10 or so more days on that, so take advantage of that. You want to rent a Toyota, you can do it there. Swing by Skyland Boulevard, see Justin, see David DeSantis, and they'll take great care of you. All right, we're very fortunate to get right to the Tuscaloosa Toyota hotline and have our main regular guest, Coach Sonny Smith. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Hey, Sonny. Good morning. Good morning. How's everybody?
We're good.
All right, how you doing? Good.
Coach, you did a good job. I don't know if you helped contribute to the War Eagle Fund, but y'all found enough money to get Janiah Broom to come back. That's good recruiting. That's good recruiting, isn't it, Coach?
Yeah.
Get him back.
I tell you what, you get a dollar's worth there for sure. Hey, you know what? It might have been put in the category of had to. Mm-hmm. They had to get him back. I think they would have been in a little bit of trouble in the post area and a backup in the post area, because the backup would have become a starter, and that I didn't think that would have been good. I think the backup was a perfect backup, and I think getting him back puts him in a position now that they can get a couple of players on the perimeter, one player on the perimeter, get a transfer hopefully, and I think they'll be back in the action and be very competitive again.
Yeah, that.
What do you think about this Arkansas deal? Cal going to Arkansas, and that Jerry Jones millionaire is going to buy as many Kentucky players as he can to give them to Arkansas. I think it weakens the league a little bit, because I think for a while they all they're not quite ready to do that, and I think it helps the Tennessees, Auburns, and Alabamas a little bit at the very beginning. I think Barry and them feel like when the money's put out, Arkansas's got plenty of it.
Well, I think Arkansas can get in the battle for anybody on any situation. Let's put it that way. I don't think it can go beyond a scholarship. It can go family. It can go whatever it wants to. But I think Arkansas just put themselves in a position with the hire that they made to go into any situation and be there at the end. May not get the kid every time, but they'll be in on the great players, and they'll get some of them. And I think that Arkansas program just elevates itself. Not so much that John Calipari is going to be the coach, but the things that he brings with him, the recruiting part of it and all that, I think he just elevated those people.
Well,
Kentucky, what do you think? You think the new guy at Kentucky is well liked? They wanted somebody with Kentucky blood. They really did. There wasn't anybody there with Kentucky blood except Mark Pope, and he's a good coach. But there's some bitching about that.
Well, you and I both know that Kentucky recruits itself. Yeah. I mean, I don't think it matters who the coach is. They're going to get good players. Now, a coach may make a difference in how good that player is, how great that player is, but they're always going to get good players. And if Mark Pope can handle these super players and get them enough shots and keep them happy and keep them from fighting, I think Mark Pope will do okay there. And he knows the situation. He's been there and done that. And I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on him, though, mainly because he hasn't done it yet at other spots. I think he had a great year wherever he was last year, but not good enough to say he's good enough for Kentucky.
Yeah, he was at BYU. They ran a pretty wide open offense, shot a ton of threes. So he's trying to recruit towards that style. Pretty amazing though, Coach. I think they, when they first mentioned Mark Pope, the Kentucky people weren't excited, but when he came in on a bus. The 96 national championship got off that bus, and they had 22,000 people in Rupp Arena for his press conference. So Rick Pitino came out, endorsed him, so I think that helped him. Some of the former players did, and those Kentucky people are a close group there. So I think it turned out to be a home run for them here now. Now, obviously, they're going to have to win, but the people are really excited in Lexington.
Being a Kentucky guy, having some success there, will rally him right off. Now, he's got to pick it up from there and carry it. And I got to believe this: anybody that coaches at Kentucky is going to win. Where you're going to win enough to keep the Kentucky fans happy, I don't know that part. But you and I know that program wins itself, no matter who the coach is. And where you can take them over the top is the real key for Kentucky, and is Pope the guy that can do that? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. Alabama, great run. Went to the Final Four. Some of their guys, quite honestly, Coach, that didn't have great years, played great at the end of the year. Nick Pringle, Grant Nelson played really good. Sears obviously was good the entire year. But we've had 5 guys here go to the transfer portal with Ryland Griffin, Walters, and then now Nick Pringle. I think sometimes when you're that successful, these guys play that good late, then all of a sudden they're worth a lot more money because people remember kind of what they saw here last. And so these guys, it looks like to me, are getting in the portal to cash in on what happened in the NCAA tournament. That's the system that we have now, I guess, and you got to make it like you can. And it looks like Nate Oates is going to turn that roster almost completely over again. Just your thoughts about what you're seeing here.
I think the combination of University of Alabama, you're already you go to if you want to get into a home, that name will get you in there. The past, what's happened there in the past will get you in. I think he's probably just good enough to turn the key once he gets in there. And I don't think it's definitely a harder job now than it was with those people leaving. But I really believe he's good, and I think he'll. And you know, there are certain teams in the league, to me, that kind of recruit themselves. They're going to get good players regardless who the coach is. And I think Alabama's pretty much got that situation because of people like Wimp that went through there and made that program as good as it is. Kid want to go to Alabama, he might not know the name of the coach for a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think they're pretty much in that situation right now.
Yeah.
Anything on NASCAR the listeners need to know that we don't know because we don't know anything about NASCAR?
Yes, if you have listeners that are NASCAR fans, this is a week. They race at Talladega. The fastest track on the circuit draws abnormal number of fans to it. It's one of the great racing scenes in NASCAR and one of the fastest track. I got in a car with Ned Jarrett, a guy that's a Hall of Fame racer, just a regular passenger car, and he took us around the track and put the car on the floorboard. And honest to goodness, it's the most scary thing that you'll ever see. You're going down a straightaway and you're going straight into a wall. And the passenger cars probably get up close to 110, which is, and he put it on the floor and scared me to death. It's the fastest track that you can go to where they race all the way around the track with the on the floorboard. And traffic's the only thing that slows them down. And if you want to see a race that is fast, you want to see a race with a lot of action. A lot of people go to NASCAR races to see wrecks. You see one there, and it's a big wreck. I took a fan there one time and had never been to a race. I wanted him to walk down to the screen and see how fast to the wire to see how fast those cars go. But you might have been one. And hey, when they would go by you, it'd be a blur. You couldn't hardly see the car when you got down right on top of it. It was unbelievable. And that was a race. Wimp, you might have been with me when Bobby Wallison got up there.
You can tell Barry, I got us a good place to park. I'm good at that. Barry.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, he did. And that might be the toughest job to do.
I don't know, Coach, if you've ever ridden with him on 280. But
I'm good at that. I'm going to give a lesson on 280.
I think he missed his calling. He should have been a NASCAR driver.
I'm going to give a lesson on how to drive on 280 because we got a dead period coming.
Yeah, he's whipping up and down and honking at people and passing people, and he's a race car driver on 280, Sonny.
He is. He'd had a lot of fights, so if he'd been on a NASCAR, because they have to come into the pits every once in a while. And when they come into the pits or when the race is over,
I'm going to pass the pits.
Yeah, he ain't got no wingman. Nobody's going to protect him out there on 280.
I'm passing cotton picking pits.
Well, let me tell you, he might be one of the best on 280. He might be one of the only people that I've ever been in. Nobody would want to ride with him but one time. Just go through there with him one time. That's all. You won't want to go anymore.
I'm going to give some lessons. I'm serious on how to drive on 280.
You gave me some.
He's retired, though, right, Coach? He's retired.
Oh, yeah.
So why is he in such a rush? What is he rushing to? Just sit in traffic and get there. When you get there, why is he in such a hurry?
He's trying to beat Wimp.
Now, Sonny, everybody reads their phones on 280 now.
Why is he in such a hurry?
Except you. You hadn't even paid for yours.
The 280 lady, she's still there.
What's the rush, Coach?
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
Tell her hello for me. If you slow down enough, tell her hello.
That was one of our great days when they had a big storm. We couldn't get to the radio station, Barry.
Yeah.
And so Sonny was in his car, and I was in my car. We were stuck on 280, and we did our radio show. It's the best show we ever had, wasn't it, Sonny?
Yeah, oh yeah, we gave them a traffic report. We get somebody going a little slow, and we give them a name, and we went all the way to the station with the Talladega race. Wimp and Sonny.
Maybe we could
call her the 280 lady.
Maybe we could do a Friday segment, put y'all out on 280, and let y'all call in.
Friday's the worst day of the year.
Old as I am now, Barry, I don't know if I couldn't stand the strain.
We're just trying to figure out why he's in such a rush. We're just telling him there's nothing to really rush for.
Either. I don't know why I am.
Just chill out, and you'll get there when you get there.
That's right.
Anyway.
I always thought he wasn't going to get there myself, but he seems to make it every time.
He does.
You ride with him one time. You ain't sure about your life or his.
Yeah, well, that's all because that guy, patrolman in Coleman, pulled us over and wanted my autograph.
Oh, gosh.
Hey, has he told that story, Barry? That's the truth.
He said
He
said, "Come back here." He said, "Come back here and get my car, Coach."
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I thought he was going to fix me and give me a big fine. He said, "Would you give me an autograph for myself and for somebody else too? Send me a book."
Yeah, he used as a dartboard. I bet you.
That's a good one, Barry. You can use that one again for sure.
This is a dartboard. All right, Coach. Lastly, before we let you go, I asked these two guys, Justin, our producer, and Dad, NIL. Should we start paying high school kids? Georgia says they're going to do it. Alabama is worried about maybe some kids going to Georgia if they can make money there. Will this eventually trickle down to high school?
I think it will, and I think it'll cut down on cheating. Anything will do that. Anything will make you have to recruit them halfway legal. I think we ought to do because that'll stop people that is going to go buy them right out from under.
Yeah.
You got to have money. That's exactly right. Now you got to have that. I got to ask the question. Wimp and I do the thing with Jimmy Raines coming up. Wimp, are we doing that or not? I'll have to ask you.
Guess who the speaker is?
Who?
Nick Saban.
Nick Saban. Well, I'll be.
You ever heard of him? You ever heard of Nick Saban?
He's probably one of the best to ever do it. He might be the best to ever do it.
What that cost us?
Oh, Coach, I don't want no money. He don't require no money.
Hey, didn't get us any raise though, did it?
Oh no, we didn't get. We barely got a handshake.
Oh, Coach, he's saying.
Hey, I tell you what, we're the only two that could ever make that football crowd laugh.
Yeah,
but we accomplished that, Barry. Well, you were there. You know we did.
I'm there, but he's saying he knows exactly what they're paying Nick Saban. That gets all that gossip, Coach. He knows.
I'm still waiting to find out how much they're going to pay me.
I got a feeling I know, but I'm going to find out if it's right.
I have a feeling I heard how much Tim Tebow asked for, and they told him to move on. They weren't going to pay him that. So.
Well, if you've ever heard him speak, you'd tell him to move on. Keep moving on. Keep moving on. He's not worth the ability to carry the football that he had.
No,
on the radio.
And Dabo,
he's a great man, but he's not a speaker.
Dabo, he likes to speak a little long. Good thing y'all didn't pay him by the hour.
Right. Dabo did take his time getting his point across.
God.
Now, Wimp, you call me instead. Let me know if we definitely do that.
There's 900 there last time with Bradshaw. They won't be able to get him in. They won't be able to get him in a hotel for Nick.
No, I'll have to go early to get my parking place somewhere else.
There'll be 1,500 people there.
out near Troy somewhere and
I'm
get a
going to
parking
tell them all to sit down and shut up, not talk.
Shut up.
Not again. Not again.
Quit telling Coach how good he is. He wasn't that good. He didn't win the national championship his last year. There's your joke. Coach, thank you very much. Have a great weekend.
Hey, I look forward to talking to you guys once a month.
Thanks, sir. All right, let's tell them that. I know we talked Bryant Bank with David, but tell them about all the great things Bryant Bank does for you.
Well, we need to talk to it again because Bryant Bank has already mentioned the 4 locations. And that's traditional banking, really, and you can bank and enjoy around-the-clock banking with, the ability to do what you need to do online, which is big. It's been headquartered in Tuscaloosa since 2005, but it's all over the state, as Barry mentioned. And if you'll get to know the banker, which you can with just one visit there, then I think certainly you'll feel very comfortable there. They've got the same zip codes and area codes that the city of Tuscaloosa has, and around the state of Alabama, they are really growing. One right below me here in Birmingham. They do a lot in community service. They'll be very, very cautious of your money and things that are in there because of the fraud attempts every day that people are trying to get into banks and mess things up. And they're well aware of that, and they will have the legal people to be darn sure you're helpful. Your money is helpful. That's it. Bryant Bank, and give them a call. Or go by and tell them you heard Inside Locker Room.
All right, take the break. I'll about the phone lines the rest of the show.
Bundled savings vary by state and are not available in every state. Saving up to 25% is the countrywide average of the maximum available savings off the home policy. Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Road tripping, business travel, or bringing your car in for repairs. All great reasons to rent a Toyota at Tuscaloosa Toyota. You can rent the latest Toyota models for a day, a week, or a weekend. Every Toyota rental-car comes with 24 hours roadside you know and trust. Rent a Toyota and let's go places. Reserving yours is a breeze at TuscaloosaToyota.com.
This report is sponsored by Think It Up.
Years ago, Jimmy Rain decided that the best way to advertise Great Southern Wood was through coaches. Gene Stallings, Pat Dye, Steve Spurrier, and myself, and many more coaches took to the radio and TV airwaves to tell people that if you're building outdoors, the only way to build is with pressure-treated pine, yellow wood. It is the very, very best. Why? Because all the coaches said yellow wood, pressure-treated pine, protects against bug, termite, and weather. Decking, fencing, play sets, whatever you're wanting to build, just go to the internet, look at Yellowwood, and you will find these coaches advertised a great product. If it doesn't have that yellow tag on it, believe you me, you don't want it. It's Yellowwood.
The Alabama Securities Commission protects you from financial fraud. Anyone asking you for investment money must be licensed. You're careful with your money. Fraudsters aren't. Before you invest, call our hotline at 1-800-222-1253 to verify the licensing of the person making an offer and the product. Don't lose your hard-earned money. Learn to protect yourself at asc.alabama.gov. Paid for by the Investor Protection Trust and brought to you by the Alabama Broadcasters Association and this station.
Did you miss any episode on Tide 100.9? Don't worry. All of our shows can be found on Spotify and Apple Music and on demand on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back to Inside the Locker Room. Right, baseball today. Really throughout the city, we had Michael message me, make sure we tell you about Northridge and Saraland. The first pitch, 5 o'clock. They'll play a doubleheader there, and then depending on what happens, if it's a split, then they'll play the final game tomorrow at 1 o'clock. If either team sweeps today, then series over. Same thing at Tuscaloosa Academy. I think their series starts at 4:30. I know there's one at ACA. Hillcrest travels down to Mobile to play Faith Academy down there. Bibb County has had a great year. They'll also be playing at home. So a lot of great baseball, but if you want to get out and watch some baseball this morning, here at 11 o'clock, and Justin is all smiles. Not that he doesn't want to do shows today, but, maybe give him a little time to get out of here. Justin's in here every morning, man, at like 5:30 in the morning. And so if you're going to get off a little bit early, Justin, Friday is probably the best day to do it, right?
Yeah, I have so much more to do now. That extra hour I'm going to get.
Did you let Wyatt know that there's going to be baseball today?
Well, I've sent out the messages. I'm trying to make sure that that's the case, that we're going to leave here. So.
Hopefully it won't rain today. But anyway, Dad, also the RBC Heritage, not a humongous field. It's an elevated event, so the purse is big. There will be a cut. Right now, projected cut line is even. Nick Dunlap's got a lot of work to do if he's going to make this cut. He's going to tee off here at 10 a.m., but he's +4. Just having a hard time here lately, kind of getting adjusted to the PGA Tour.
Yeah, it's brand new to him. You know, he has such a great deal at Texas, played so well. It's just sometimes that's the way golf is, and you get going again, and you're just not playing quite as well. Then you get to thinking about what you're doing wrong, and that adds to it because you try different things. Sometimes you do, according to what kind of teacher you have or what kind of caddy you have. So he's +4, and we'll see today. JT is -2. Holt guy is -4, I believe it is. So it's going to be interesting to see how these guys finish up. And I know Nick's disappointed in the way he's played since that first time, but still think he's got a great chance to be a great player, no doubt about it. The more you play, the better you get, the more you understand, because you got brand new courses you've never seen, never been to. Even sometimes your caddy has not been there. So his caddy's from Montgomery, and he probably hadn't been there either. So it's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, then Justin Thomas, I think he needs to make this cut. The cut line is even. He's -2. He struggled, quite honestly, this year's time for him to put a couple of positive tournaments together. Just his putting is not good, changing caddies. I think it's important for him to make the cut here. Not that, it's not the end all, but what do you think about Justin?
Yeah, I think so. I think he just needs to do something positive. He's trying to find him, for lack of a better word, he's trying to find himself a little bit. And I think it happens to you in golf. You get out of kilter and you just try to go back and find yourself. If you just can't get back in the way you think you ought to be. And I think that's what he's trying to be and what he wants to be. And you know, when he and the caddy separated and they went to Augusta, and of course Bones had known so much about Augusta, and then when he got on the back nine that second day, he played so poorly that he ended up missing the cut. So I think you're right. I think he needs to turn it around after that and go back. You know, he uses his dad a lot to help him a great deal, and that's great. His dad knows a lot about his abilities, but you know, once you start really playing bad, and you can't find yourself. And that golf now, it's a boogerberry. You got to take it one shot at a time. Sort of what you have to do.
Yeah, Justin, yes.
Yeah, Barry, I'm actually reading that there isn't going to be a cut here.
Okay.
So of the 8 signature events that the tour is doing this year,
just on the scores, it says projected cut even on ESPN.com. So,
I'm reading. We'll get this straight.
Yeah, I don't know if this is a signature event. It's an elevated event. I don't know if there's a difference. Is there a cut in this tournament, Gary? Do you know? I know it's a $20 million purse. It's
an opposite field event, so the cut is real small.
Yeah,
I'm reading here that at least what I'm looking at, which is Golf Monthly, it says out of the 8 signature events, the only ones with a cut are the Genesis, the Memorial, and the Arnold Palmer. So the other 5, including RBC Heritage, wouldn't.
Yeah, right now, if you look at the deal, it looks like projected maybe 10 guys getting cut, so not many. All right, we'll take this break. We can squeeze in a phone call if you guys want to jump in. You listen to Tide 100.9 at 12:30 a.m. WTBC. It's the home of Alabama sports.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. We have picked up a pretty good little backup now on eastbound 2059 as you approach Joe Malisham. The problem there is the ongoing road work. Right lane is blocked. Left lane is all that's passable. It does look like maybe half a mile to a mile worth of backup that you'll have to contend with there. Now, once you pass that, it's a straight shot the rest of the way out to Cottondale. No big problems on McFarland Boulevard. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, I'm Ray Romero.
Coming up on The Game with Ryan Fowler.
Coming up on the Free For All Friday edition presented by Brian Harden Construction. We're going to give away another big pair of those Travis Tritt concerts. We'll talk to Brent Beard. We're going to take your phone calls. We're going to have a lot of fun starting at 2 p.m. here on The Game on Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
The longest running sports program.
Powered teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classrooms today? Join at thinkitup.org.
Serving part-time in the Army National Guard has led to a lot of firsts for me. It paid for me to be the first person in my family to go to school. That education got me to the first day at my dream job, which I can still hold while I serve part-time. That job and the home loan benefits I got from the Army National Guard helped me buy my first house.
Bundled savings vary by state and are not available in every state. Saving up to 25% is the countrywide average of the maximum available savings off the home policy. Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
The weather stays warm today, mostly cloudy through tonight. A few scattered showers or thunderstorms possible. The high today 84, tonight's low 60. Tomorrow mostly cloudy. A few passing showers are likely during the day. The high 74. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 67 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
You're listening to Inside the Locker Room with Wimp and Barry, only on Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back to Inside the Locker Room. All right, we'll get right to the Yellowwood Hotline. We'll get Digger into the show. Good morning, Digger.
You know, Tom had it partly right yesterday. It's Spieth, JT, and Tiger. Those are three peas in a pod. They're partying around, flying around on his pole. They're not working. They're not trying to win. They're goofing off. Mm-hmm. Their wives are best friends, and they sit there and dick around these tournaments, and they don't want to win. That's why Scheffler's winning. He's a curmudgeon. He likes to sit down there, put his nose to the grindstone, and win.
Well, he's got a lot of ability too, Digger.
Right. He corrected that, and look at him now. And that's the other thing about this cut. I hate the cut. I really love to see some of these golfers struggle, going 20 over.
There is no cut. There is no. I was wrong. ESPN has it wrong. Right. There is no cut in this tournament. So
this will give you an idea of how far off the golfers are.
Yeah, but they make money regardless, though, Digger. So it's a great deal for them.
What? Well, that's fine. I want to make money off of these golfers. When I see them struggling, I can wager on him knowing that he ain't going to make the cut the next time around. So, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
But, don't count on Texas having 60 in the stadium this weekend for spring game.
Don't count on what? He's breaking up. What did he say? I didn't hear what he said.
I don't know. I didn't get it either.
It's not going to be 60,000 in the stadium for the DKR at Texas spring game.
Nah, it ain't going to be 60,000. Y'all got too much going on in Austin. That's why you can't be a big-time football program.
It's 85% chance of rain. They're not going to show up for that.
No. They weren't coming anyway. Thank you, Digger. Steve Sarkisian said he thought about the Alabama job for about 1 minute. Was it 1 minute or 20 seconds?
60 seconds.
60 seconds. That's 1 minute. All right, that's it for today's show. Get out, support your baseball here. You got a lot of baseball going on in the area, high school and obviously college baseball. The Gary Harris Show is next, so keep it locked in here all day long. Although Be no shows, I guess, starting at 11, be Alabama baseball, I'm assuming, so just keep it locked in here. Hopefully the weather will cooperate. This is Tide 100.9 and 1230 AM WTBC. It's the home of Alabama sports.